Hi everyone, it's Keith Brink from the Upward Bound Programs. Welcome to our 2026 Summer Academy Orientation. Hopefully all of you have received your Summer Academy Orientation packet that should have been mailed to you, or if you were a new student who attended our New Student Saturday Academy on May 2nd, you received it then. Make sure you have the packet, or if you don't have the packet, be sure to contact our office so you have that, you have all the forms, and you also have the handbook and information you need to actually watch this orientation. For this orientation, we want to talk about move-in. We want to go over your daily schedule. We'll talk about weekly check-in and out. We'll talk about important dates that are going to be happening during those 5 weeks that you're here on campus, as well as talk about the summer trip. You also will be going over your Summer Academy handbook. Lacey's going to talk about some very specific things and rules and things that you need to know about that handbook, but be sure you read that with your parents. Make sure you're aware of all the different things that you need to know as far as safety things, as far as your rules and expectations while you're here on campus with us. And then finally, I'll talk about the various forms that you need to mail back to us and what you need to keep. So in your packet, you have the move-in card. The move-in card, again, has the times of move-in, which will be Sunday, June 14th. If you are a Upward Bound Rising Junior, you're going to be moving in between 5 and 5:45. If you are an Upward Bound Rising Senior, you'll be moving in from 5:45 to 6:30. Those times are a little bit flexible, but those are times so that we're not all arriving at once. It'll make move-in much cleaner and much smoother. So be sure to try to stick to those as close as you can. Parents, we can let you know that you'll only be expected to be here for about 1 hour to help your student, your son, your daughter move into the residence hall. Also, if for any reason you need to move in at a later time or a later date, be sure that you've contacted the Upward Bound office. Make sure that you've spoken to us about that move-in time so we'll know that you're coming at a different time outside of the regular move-in time. Also, on this move-in card on the back is a move-in map. You can see it here on the screen, but it has some directions as far as how to get to the residence hall. We'll once again be staying in Gregson Hall, so all of you pretty much should be familiar unless you're a new student, but this is where we stayed last summer for both sophomore summer and for Summer Academy. We'll have signage out just like we did last year, and we'll be directing you to the parking lots where you'll be able to park. You'll then be able to go get your keys, get checked in, and then you'll be able to have whoever you brought with you helping get all of your stuff into the residence hall and into your room. This card also lists some information about what to bring, what not to bring, what you might want to bring, and Lacey will go over that list with you here in just a moment. I also want to talk a little bit about what to expect as far as weekly pickup and checkout during the Summer Academy. So again, we always with Summer Academy, we'll check in normally on Sundays, just like we do move-in, but normal check-in time on Sundays outside of move-in will be at 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. And then weekly checkout times will normally be on Fridays between 12 and 1. So be sure to kind of follow your normal times. We kind of have some different information listed on here, but again, we have some staggering for that. So junior or senior, your times will be a little bit different, but we just ask parents to kind of follow those rules. We'll also have a particular place where we need you to be picked up. So we'll be using McElroy Avenue. That information is here on this weekly map, weekly checkout map and pickup. So be sure again to follow these signs when you're picking up from Summer Academy, because this is very important. We can't, because it's going to be during the week on a Friday afternoon, we have to be very cognizant of the traffic and the traffic flow and the University of Arkansas transit buses that are going in and out of Garland Avenue. So that's why we're going to pick up on McElroy Avenue. We'll have signage out. We'll have kind of a one-way location for you to be able to stop. We'll be able to have your son or daughter come down. If they've already filled out that authorization form to be able to check themselves out of the program, they'll be able to meet you directly at McElroy Avenue. Or if you need to stop and park and go pick them up or check them out, you can do that as well on McElroy Avenue. So again, if you have any questions about that, please let us know, but it's very important that you follow the directions on here and follow the signage on pickup times and pickup dates. We also have some information on the back of this card that you can see here on the screen, and it's about how to check out or where maybe to park if you need to come to the program as a parent or a guest outside of the normal pickup times. Then you're going to have to utilize the actual University of Arkansas parking meters that are located near Gregson Hall. And so those are listed on this card, and you'll use the Park Mobile app. The Park Mobile app will allow you to actually pay in increments of 15 minutes, but you can then park for an extended time while you're there for any reason you need to be on campus or checking your son or daughter out. That way you're not blocking traffic, and you're also not going to be subject to actually getting ticketed, which can happen if you park in locations that are outside of our pickup times and locations, or in one of those lots that are actually marked and are off limits to folks that are guests of the university. You also have listed in your packet, or you have a sheet in your packet that shows some University of Arkansas Upper Bound Summer Academy dates. We just kind of listed everything that you need to be aware of for each of those 5 weeks while the students are on campus. So obviously the first week we're going to be moving in on that Sunday, June 14th, and then Friday, June 19th will be move out. And then week 2, again, we'll kind of follow the same schedule. The only difference is, again, check-in will be a little bit later than move-in is. So normally when we check in on Sundays, that's going to happen between 7:30 and 8:30 p.m. The main thing to note here is don't get there early because you won't be able to get into the residence hall until 7:30. And we have also, if you're somebody that's riding the vans will take care of picking you up and making sure that you get there between those particular times. And then on Fridays, again, normal checkout time. I think I said 12 to 1. It's actually 12:15 to 1:15. And again, we kind of stagger those with the seniors getting picked up first and then the juniors. And then, of course, those riding the vans will be leaving at that particular time to get to their locations. For week 3, the only difference is we're actually going to have a shorter week that week. So because we'll be celebrating the July 4th holiday that next weekend, we're actually going to be checking out of the residence hall on Wednesday, July 1st. So we'll treat that like a normal Friday. So check out on Wednesday, July 1st will be from 12:15 to 1:15. We'll also run vans just like before, but that'll be the time that you'll actually do the normal pickup that you would do on a Friday. And then our week 4 is also a little bit different. So we'll check back into the residence hall like normal between 7:30 and 8:30 p.m. And then students that will be taking the ACT, which includes all of our juniors and most of our seniors. The only exception will be if you are a senior that has, for whatever reason, chosen not to take the ACT, the July 11th ACT, you'll actually can be picked up as normal on Friday. Otherwise, you'll be staying through. We have some special activities, and we'll be getting you to your ACT that next Saturday morning, and then pick up for that week will actually happen a little bit later, between 1:30 and 2 p.m., right there at the residence hall. That way we can get all of our students to their ACT testing location and then back to the residence hall to be picked up. For week 5, our final week, it's going to be a fun-filled week, a packed week. We will check in just like normal on Sunday. But there are a couple of things that I wanted to point out. One of those being the fact that that's when we always have our talent show. So I just want to make sure that parents and guests can come to that. So students that are performing who want to invite friends and family, we'll have some information that we'll send out exactly where that'll be, but that'll be in the Arkansas Union. And we'll have some time and information about that a little bit later. And then, of course, we will be staying through Friday that particular week and actually checking out Saturday. And Saturday, we'll also have our award ceremony. We'll celebrate the end of the Summer Academy as well as honor all of our Upper Bound graduates. So be looking for information about Move Out Day. I think we'll have there may be something in your packet, or we'll make sure you get that prior to that final week so you know exactly how we'll be doing Move Out and the award ceremony, but make sure that's marked on your calendars. And then the end of summer trip, we hope that most of you or all of you will be able to attend that, but we're going to be going to Kansas City this year. We're going to be leaving on Tuesday, July 21st, and we're coming back on Thursday, July 23rd, so it's a 3-day, 2-night trip. And again, all students who do well in their classes, get a C or above, who have no disciplinary problems in the residence hall and have missed no more than 5 days of the Summer Academy will all be eligible to attend that trip. You also have in your packet a schedule, kind of a sample schedule of the weeks. Again, we'll be on campus 5 weeks, but during those 5 weeks, we'll always do breakfast early on. I can tell you that we'll eat at the dining hall for breakfast Monday through Wednesdays, but on Thursdays and Fridays, we'll be doing a grab-and-go breakfast to make it a little bit nicer for you to maybe sleep in and do something just a little bit different on those particular days. Then you'll go off to your academic classes, and those classes will be between 8:10 and 12 o'clock each day, and you'll be getting your exact schedule when you move in and when you check in. So you'll get all your information about what classes you'll be in, where your classes will be, and of course we'll have staff that will get you to those classrooms those first week. So then you'll know exactly where you're going. We'll be eating lunch, and then after lunch is when you'll either do your seminar or your elective class. So that always happens in the afternoon, and then we have some study time or group meeting. So all of that is kind of the routine that we'll have for each of those 5 weeks. And then again, you always check out on Friday afternoons at noon, or about 12:15 to 1:15, with the exception of that fourth week, which will be staying over for the ACT test. Now I'd like to turn it over to Lacey to let her talk about a little bit more of the schedule, some of the fun things that we'll be doing, how the afternoons work, how the evenings work, and then also talking about some of the very specific rules that go along with your stay during the Summer Academy.
Hey everybody, it's Lacey, the Director of Upward Bound Programs. Keith just told you about our morning classes and academics, and then I get to talk about what we're doing in the evenings. So the first thing that we do in the afternoon most days is to have some sort of PRT, or personal recreation time. So PRT is really a time where students can choose exactly what they want to do. So some of our students will want to go to the hyper gym to work out, to do those things for your sports ball teams, to stay in shape and do what you need to do. I don't know that much about it, but we support you in doing that. Some of our students may want to go to the Arkansas Union and play some video games. You might want to come with Carson Brink and go to the Mullins Library and go into the makerspace and do some arts and crafts. There'll be lots of different things like that going on. Also, we'll be in Gregson Hall. They have a ping pong table, so maybe you want to play some Uno down in the lobby or play some ping pong. Lots of different options. And if you just want to have some quiet time by yourself in your room, that's totally fine too. If you do leave the residence hall, you will be supervised by one of our awesome residential staff members. So we want to make sure everybody is staying safe and secure on campus. And so if we leave our Upward Bound building, Gregson Hall, our residence hall, we always have a staff member with us. We have dinner, which is typically going to be in the Northwest Quad Dining Hall. We will have some special dinners, like whenever we go and have barbecue at Wilson Park. Maybe some nights we'll do a dinner on Dixon. Dinners on Dixon are when Upward Bound provides every student and staff member with $25 in cash, and we go out to eat at restaurants on Dixon Street. Obviously, each of those restaurants, any restaurant that a student goes to, they will be supervised and chaperoned by staff members, and we'll have some fun, interesting dining experiences at places maybe we've never gone before. And we'll talk about tipping and restaurant etiquette and all that kind of stuff. We'll also head off campus a couple times to go to places like Fast Lane and do some laser tag and some bowling. We'll also have some special events on campus where we go to the hyper gym and do a night of competitions. We're also going to have a talent show night. So lots of fun things. We pretty much have something planned every single evening. One thing to keep in mind on Wednesdays, in your packet you'll find this flyer. Our awesome student council have planned some dress-up days for us. So this is optional, but if you have some things like Pink Day or Beach Day where you want to come and show some spirit and have some fun, those are the different Wednesdays of the summer. So that's going to be a lot of fun. As we wind up our evenings, there will come a time where we have what we call on-floor time. That starts at 9:30, and that's when we'll make sure that we get our showers in, get our teeth brushed, we're not distracted by a ping pong tournament or something on the TV down in the lobby. We'll really start winding down our day. We'll have at 10:30 is when we'll need to be in our rooms. That'll be the time where we're making sure everything's put away, we're ready to start getting ready for bed, and then we do have lights out at 11 p.m. All right, in your packet, you will also find your Summer Academy Handbook. Please take some time to read this in its entirety. I know it's some big walls of text, but it really lets you know about your responsibilities, a lot of our policies and procedures related to checkout, expectations of your behavior in the classroom, all that kind of stuff. There are also all of our rules and expectations. There are 3 big rules that I always like to mention that are big no tolerance rules. For Upward Bound to keep running safely and securely, these are just rules that we don't really make exceptions when students break those rules. So the first really big rule is no girls on guys' floors, no guys on girls' floors. We separate our residential area where everybody's rooms are by gender, and to keep everybody safe and secure, we just can't have folks of the opposite gender in those areas. So it's a really big one for Upward Bound. Our second really big rule is no drugs, no alcohol, no tobacco. That includes vapes. So being part of Upward Bound means that you don't have those items, you don't bring those items, you don't use those items at Upward Bound. And our third really big rule that's really important to us is that we do not allow any sort of bullying. Upward Bound is a place where you can try new things, where you can take classes in juggling and write poetry and do things that maybe you never thought you would do before. And to feel safe and comfortable to do those sorts of things, it's really important that we do not have an area, a culture where there's any sort of bullying. So that's really important to Upward Bound. So make sure that we're always being kind and supportive of each other. In the handbook on the page before last, there's also a packing list. So be sure and take a look at this. It has all the things that you want to make sure that you definitely bring. That includes all of your toiletries. It also includes your bedding. So in Gregson Hall, you'll be provided with a twin bed, extra long twin bed, but you'll need to bring some sheets, some blankets, maybe a sleeping bag, whatever works best for you. There's also some things that you might want to bring. So we ask students if you want to bring a gaming console. That could be really cool. We asked our students not to play games in their rooms alone. We really want that to be a communal thing when possible. So if you have a gaming console that you want to come and share, and we have TVs in the lobbies and lounge areas. We've had some Mario Kart competitions. They've got pretty intense. So please bring your gaming consoles if you want to and you have one available. And then there are a few things listed on there to definitely leave at home. So rollerblades, skateboards, bicycles, go ahead and leave those at home. Anything with a flame or a heating mechanism, so don't bring any candles, don't bring any sort of toaster ovens. You can bring a refrigerator or a microwave if you want to, and you are willing to carry it up the stairs. But yeah, so be sure and take a look at that packing list to make sure that you have everything that you need. Yeah, thank you so much.
So now that you know what to expect for the Summer Academy, you're all set for move-in, you know all the rules, we want to make sure that we get back some forms from you. So in your packet again, we're going to need some of those forms filled out and returned. One of the most important one is your check-in, check-out authorization form. That is that gold form. Make sure that form has been filled out completely so that we know the folks that can actually pick you up. This is important, especially if you're going to be picked up during the week, during outside the normal pickup times, because we need to know who is authorized to come check you out. And they'll actually have to come in and physically check you out of the residence hall. Or if for any reason you are a student who has not checked the box that you can be checking out on your own on normal pickup times, we also need to know who can pick you up on normal pickup times. So be sure that you have filled out that form completely, that we get that back from you. That is a very important form so that we can make sure and ensure your safety while you're here on campus when you're checking in and out of the residence hall. We also want you to turn in your statement acknowledgement of student commitment form. That's that white form. That will also ensure that you're going to get your stipend for the summer. It actually gives us the authorization that you have actually watched this orientation, that you're familiar with all the rules, that you went through the handbook. So we need that back from you, so we've got that on file. As far as the medical authorization form, that only needs to be returned if there is a change. So that's something that you did as a new student or at some point during the program, but if something has changed, medications or maybe a medical situation or insurance information, please send an updated one if you need to make those changes or those updates. As far as the absence request form, these only need to be returned if you know of some dates or a date or a time during the Summer Academy that you'll need to be checked out. So if you already know about a dental appointment or something that's happening during the Summer Academy dates that you know you'll need to be checked out of the program for, go ahead and fill that out. Otherwise, we'll have plenty of these forms available during check-in or throughout the program so that you can use those if something comes up like another type of appointment or some type of reason that you need to leave the program during the week. Also, there are some of you I know that maybe want to drive your own vehicle to the Summer Academy. So again, if you do that, you'll actually park on campus, but we have to ensure that you have the right credentials to park on campus and will not be ticketed. Also, we want to make sure that you understand that when you arrive, you'll turn your keys in and they'll only be given to you when you check out on normal checkout times. So you need to know that that's the way we handle those. You'll not be able to utilize your car during the week, only to arrive on campus and to leave campus. And then finally, we don't actually have a form for this. We're going to ask that if you are someone who plans to drive your vehicle to campus for the Summer Academy, that you contact the Upward Bound office directly. That way we can get a specific list that we send over to the transit office. Transit and parking needs that list, and then they'll be able to give us the right credentials that you'll need in order to park for those 5 weeks on campus. Please return these in the return envelope that is provided in your packet, or if you don't want to mail them in directly, if you want to go electronic, you can actually email those to us at ubound@uark.edu. That's another way to get those to us. But again, we also want to make sure that if you have any questions that you let us know, especially if for any reason you're going to be moving in at a different time, later date, you've got some major absences you need to talk about, those kinds of things. Make sure that you contact us. So again, questions that you might have, you can always go to, you can always ask us through email at ubound@uark.edu. You can contact our main office, but probably the best way to do it is through the texting apps that are set up by the advisors. So I know that in your packet, and you probably have gotten some information about, we're going to move from GroupMe to Band as our new app that we're using to communicate with, but you can always text those information and those questions and we'll be able to get back with you. But you can also contact us in various ways. So always feel free to call. Parents you can call, you can email, you can even go to our website to make sure that you've got the contact information. And again, always know too that our Upward Bound website will have our updated calendar with all the information throughout the summer, the information that you may need for different dates, move-in times, and those things in case you lose any of these forms. We look forward to seeing you. We look forward to a great summer. So see you on June 14th.